Good morning, Solaris! That is exactly how Wuthering Waves and Cyberpunk Collab trailer greeted us. And when that happened, all gacha space learned what a real rumbling feels like. While some players were discussing the character designs and others were theory crafting about meta, I had a slightly different question in my mind. Is it possible to get Lucy, Rebecca, and their seeks on a brand new account? No Astrite saved up, not a single top-up. Just as a completely new free-to-play player who started playing exactly during the Collab patch. And cause I'm a big fan of this game, I've decided to play through the entire story, without skipping a single dialogue. Well, on a first glance, it seemed like a good idea. At the same time, I also understood that the stakes were pretty high. I risked losing not just around 40-ish hours, as I thought, but also seeing the wrong moon. So, I cleared Wuthering Waves from scratch for Cyberpunk Collab. When we woke up and met Chisha and Yan Yan, the first step is quite obvious: the story. It unlocks new regions, mechanics, and gives you a bulk of Astrite to work with. Even if you really want to skip everything, you can't avoid story completely. Kuro Games gives you an opportunity to skip almost entire quests, but some of them just has to be done. And as for me, I've decided to go through the entire story. At the first patch, there were some quests that required you to have a certain account level. So after doing some initial quests, I've decided to grab some quick first clear rewards. After clearing bosses or tacit fields for the first time, you can get a significant amount of XP. And that is exactly what we need. Well, the first chapter flew by surprisingly fast. Version 1.x took around 13 hours to complete. And at that moment, I thought, alright, so the first part took around 13 hours, so 2.x another 13 hours, and 3.x is a bit shorter than 2.x, so maybe around 10 to 12 hours to complete the whole story. I trusted my calculations and I thought I'm pretty good at gacha math. Right? Right? It took me 48 hours, and I only just reached version 3.0. I was originally planned to complete the story in about a week or something, but now I was desperate and just wanted to lead this challenge. However, I knew there was a great story waiting for me ahead, so I kept going. And when I got to Lahairoi, well, that was the time when I stopped looking at the timer. Up until this point, I was clearing the story with a constant sense of a deadline hanging over me. But here, I actually remembered why I love this game in the first place. It is not for pools, and it is not for banners, but because Kuro Games knows how to tell stories. And in Lahairoi patch they really made it to the peak. So if you ever decide to start playing because of this collab, right here in this patch, keep that skip button far away. And I'm sure you'll thank me later for that advice. And on top of that, a special plus for Kuro. After 3.0, dialogues feel way better than before. There are no more situations when the character has already finished talking, but you are just sitting there waiting for the next line to come. And believe me, after dozens of hours of story, you start appreciating these things on a whole new level. So, after roughly 68 hours, I finally reached the Collab quest itself. And to be honest, I was happy not only because of that reason itself, but also because after finishing this quest, I could finally go to YouTube and not get hit with any spoilers. So I won't spoil anything for you either. I'll just say one thing. It was perfect. After the Collab event, there was the last quest of Lahairoi patch. It was the story of Lahairoi's main mummy, Lucilla. To be honest, I had zero expectations for her story, but I think that's exactly why I ended up liking it so much. Anyway, 74 hours later, and the story was finally done. The story gave me around 10k Astrite, and I need at least twice that much. So, in that moment, I realized it is time to grind. First things first, I went back to Jinzhou to get the loot mapper device. The loot mapper shows practically every chest on the map within a certain range. So after getting it, it is time for us for some treasure hunting. I headed back to Lahairoi. Lahairoi got a new chest hunting feature tied to motorcycle, so now you can farm chests in a bulk at a discount. No matter how tedious chest farm might seem, after 74 hours of dialogue, it genuinely feels like a breath of fresh air. Chest farming is a great source of Astrites, but I was also interested in another bonus from this activity: experience, because it would finally let me hit account level 40 and upgrade the eco storage, which will eventually give me another 1200 Astrites. After hitting level 40, I also tried to clear the Tower of Adversity, which gave me another 800 Astrites. On top of that, I lowered my world level to make mob farming significantly easier. It does not reduce rewards except for drops from the mobs and bosses themselves, but right now, my main enemy is time. Then came the events: Elusive Realm, races, and battle event in Honami. But grind itself was not the worst part of my journey. It was something else. I kept opening the banner, looking at the Astrite count, but the number still didn't look big enough. And then I remembered one event. There is this one event that gets updated with almost every new area. When you play gradually, you barely notice the rewards. But if you claim it all at once, that was truly my hope and salvation. So, after a few more hours, I finally finished this event. And then I realized, either I pull everything I need right now, or I stop. But before pulling, it is time for us to claim everything we've earned with our blood and tears. Since the event only gives character pulls, I decided to start with weapons. And I absolutely did not expect what happened next. Whoa, that was fast. So, I guess it's Lucy's time then.
time for another afternoon consultation, I see. What's on your mind today?
In that moment, when I saw the golden glow, time just stopped. My heart was about to jump out of my chest and I could already hear that line in my head.
Deleting your ass. Oh, time for another afternoon consultation, I...
Opening greeting, foul spirits be gone, all safe and sound.
But it was not the moon I was hoping for. However, I still have enough Astrite, so now success is inevitable.
What matter do you seek answers for today? Catch me, huh, you thieves? So, get away, another way to feel what you did on yourself to know and let yourself go. You know you do lose your self-control.
I know. The dream had to end.
This journey took way more time than I expected, but it all worked out, so I'm not really here to complain. When I started this challenge, I thought the main problem would be winning the 50-50, but honestly, no. The real problem turned out to be not to break down before that. The expected 50 to 60 hours turned into 90, but either way, it was an interesting experience that I definitely won't forget. So, if someone asks me, can you start gathering wives from scratch for just the Cyberpunk collab? I'd say yes. Would I do it again? Not a chance. Although, if tomorrow Kuro announces a Nier collab. And now, you know what I'm about to ask. Smash that like button and share this video with your friends who are wondering whether it's worth starting. Because right now, it is perfect time to make it in time. And as for me, I'm finally going to touch some grass. See you in Night City, Rovers.